Hello everyone! A lot of you guys have been asking me where I've been. By the grace of God, I was able to go home to Ohio for Christmas. So not only was I spending time with my family, but I was also helping my mom recover from COVID. Around Thanksgiving, my family from back home all got COVID. The rest of my family members recovered perfectly, but my mom, not so much. She went from COVID to pneumonia to congested heart failure. She's gonna have a long road of recovery ahead of her. So I was helping take care of her. But now I am back and better than ever. And now I'm ready to tell you guys my dad's story. I did have to get permission from a couple different people, including him. So that also contributed as to why I could not tell the full story quite yet. So this video is the introduction. The next one will be part 1. This is the story about how my dad found his real father. Alright, picture it, February 1974. My grandma had never really had a boyfriend before. She was 17 years old, and this boy from the opposite side of Ohio starts hanging out with her brothers. They hit it off almost immediately. Within 2 weeks of them knowing each other, they started dating. Which back during this time era, that was not uncommon. But the boy had to go back to his hometown for, work. My grandma tried reaching out to him by phone, by letters, and he never responded. A couple months after he left, and grandma's feeling queasy, and she finds out she's pregnant. So she was able to contact him through his brother to let him know she was pregnant. She was really hoping that maybe this would make him want to come back to her. Until my grandma found out he was married and had another kid on the way. Now, all of this was before technology, so there was no way of ever knowing. But my biological grandpa denied it. That's right, he denied my father. So my grandma pretty much had to face the music right off the bat and just realized she was gonna have to do this by herself. Thankfully, my grandparents let her live with them and she worked and they helped with the baby and everything. But 3 weeks after my dad was born, my dad's biological father, John, he decided that he wanted to see his son. And I'm not saying I agree with this next part, but I understand. My grandma's side of the family kind of ran him off with shotguns. And he never came back. He continued to deny it to everyone. Fast forward to when I was born. My mom saw how desperately my dad wanted to know who his real father is. At least in name, what he looked like, because my grandma never told him anything. So my mom took it upon herself and she found his address. She wrote him a letter explaining who we were. She sent family pictures of us and was really hoping to hear back. I believe this year was 1995 because that's the year I was born and that's when she said that she did it. But unfortunately, they never heard back. We're gonna fast forward again to 2014. You can pretty much find anybody now with social media. So my crazy self, I started messaging everybody with his last name from his county. I'm like, hey, do you know John? A lot of people said no, I have no idea who you're talking about. But there was this one person that never responded. So at this point, I kind of thought it was a lost dream. And my dad's like, just let it go, it's never gonna happen. Fast forward again, 2016. That lady who didn't respond, responded 2 years later. She never even realized that she had a message because it went straight to her request messages on Facebook. And she says, yes, I know John. He's my father-in-law. I consider her like my Aunt Kathy now, so I'm gonna tag her in the comments. You guys go follow her. Aunt Kathy is the bomb. She's amazing, she's hilarious, and you should go follow her. But anyway, back to my story. She starts sending pictures of like family, John. When I showed my dad the pictures, he had to walk away to another room and he was just sobbing. My dad is not an emotional man, but I think the truth definitely overwhelmed him. So me talking to Kathy was roughly winter of 2016. I had to move away because my husband was in the military, but we came home on leave in September of 2016. At this point, I knew John's phone number. He wouldn't answer, he wouldn't respond to messages, nothing. So myself and my brother, who I will mention in the comments for you guys to go follow, decided, you know what, we're just gonna show up. We literally drove from the west side of Ohio to the east side of Ohio. It was like a 2-hour drive, but we get to his town and my Aunt Kathy met us at a gas station. She was kind of there for like moral support because she knows how rough they are. When I say rough, I mean shotguns, backwoods, will probably kill us if we step on their property rough. It's some hillbilly elegy type shit. So we get to his house and it is a long driveway, jiggy-jaggy, up a hill. My brother, who is 6'2", tells me I need to stay in the car and he'll go knock on the door, just in case. So he goes up to the front door. Go to part 4 to find out what happens next. So like I said, my brother, who's 6'2", decided to walk up to the door. This little old man opens up the door. He's like a whopping 5'7". Kind of made me feel at ease that my brother was bigger because, you know, these people are backwoods and they can get a buck nasty sometimes. but he explained who he was, and John came outside. He started headed towards our car. I got out of the car, and honestly, everything went great. He said that he always wanted to know, and that he was so glad that we came. Now, we did all of this without none of the rest of our family knowing, because we knew they would be against it. So we FaceTimed Dad, and John FaceTimed his son. My dad was so shocked. But we sat there for a while, we had small talk, and he told us that he'd really love it if we reached out to him again. He even hugged me. Now, at this time, John had lung cancer. So I kept my promise and I continued to call. But this next part is really sad. So obviously I knew our time was limited because he did have lung cancer and he was also going untreated. So I tried to contact him pretty much as I possibly could. I tried calling about once a week, but for some reason he wasn't answering. And then one day he finally did. I said, "Hey John, it's Taylor. I just wanted to know if you were doing okay and if maybe, you would want to meet your son." And he started screaming at me, pretty much calling me anything but a white girl, telling me I was crazy, and that he told me that he wanted nothing to do with us when we showed up at his house. Like, okay, Gramps, if you didn't want to see us, why'd you take a picture of us and why were you smiling in the picture? We didn't hold you at gunpoint, you did that yourself. Me being the Virgo I am, I didn't put up with it. And I was just like, you know what? My dad's been so fine without you. He's got a good job, good wife, good kids. He never needed you, he just wanted to know who you were. I said, you're gonna die an old man that wanted nothing to do with his child. And you're gonna go to hell for that. And honestly, I don't regret saying it because he was a piece of shit. Come to find out, the only reason why John was saying those things is because his wife, who was sitting right across him, was telling him to say that. John cheated on her numerous times. So much so that she stabbed him. In a lot of ways, I understand why he did what he did, because she was a crazy bitch. But she basically wouldn't let him have a relationship with my dad, which was absolutely so freaking wrong. My dad didn't ask to be born. But after that point, I was just like, it's not worth it. I completely stopped contacting them, and eventually he died from lung cancer. I do, however, keep in touch with a lot of my relatives on that side of the family. Most of them have been so accepting and so sweet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, I have a YouTube channel and an Instagram page. Y'all should go click the link in my bio and follow it. I'm trying to build my Instagram page like hardcore, so go help your girl out. But I love you guys. Stay tuned for more story times.